Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. So we've got a big trailer behind us. This is an oversized, so if you got some big horses, this is a trailer that'll fit for you. This is a 2024 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse gooseneck, but it's extra tall, extra wide. So we'll walk you through a lot of the extras we did on this trailer, but first let's take a look at the drawing so you can see how it's laid out, and I can show you some of those dimensions that I was mentioning. So on this one here, we're 24/6 on the floor. So a very easy to maneuver trailer. It is extra wide at 7'6" versus the standard 6'10". It's 7'4" tall versus the 7'1". So there's our extra tall, extra wide. And we also have a front dressing room access both sides of this trailer. So as we start going through this, on a Cimarron, a couple things I'll point out. All aluminum construction, 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty, 1 year no questions asked warranty on your tires. So they really stand behind the product itself. But on this one here, we've added a couple little things for you. You know, again, by no means this is a big, massive trailer, but it does have quite a few extras. And one of the definite extras right here is this electric over hydraulic jack. This has a manual override as well. From Equalizer Systems, that's a system that Cimarron likes to put on the trailers. We're big believers in it too. This is what we'll add on here to a trailer that has a manual jack if you're wanting to add this type of a setup. But boy, it is sure nice to be able to push a button, up, down it goes. You can leave a lot of tack in this one that we'll show you just based on the sheer tack size. But also if you're backing up to the trailer itself, somebody's guiding you, you know, you can just sit there in the driver's seat, and even if you're traveling with a youngster, that's, you know, from a hand crank standpoint, it might be a little bit hard for them to do, but it's real easy to reach up and hit the button and down the trailer comes. But it's nice to have that override. With this system, you're gonna get an aluminum battery box, 12-volt battery, and a battery disconnect. So there's room in this box for a second battery if you choose to add that in there. You'd store a couple little items in here. This is lockable as well. That battery disconnect is important because when you park this trailer and walk away from it, you reach up and you turn that off because it'll kill all power to this. If we accidentally leave a tack light on, it's not going to drain this battery. So it's definitely nice to have that. Again, capability to lock it. Spare tires located to the left of the hydraulic jack. Now, if you watch a lot of our videos on our standard width trailers, 6'10" wide, this spare is located up higher because we need the space for this hydraulic jack setup versus the manual, just because of the sheer footprint. As you can see, the angle of the gooseneck comes in, so we can't shove it all the way across, so it's located up a little bit higher, and that's just because of that. Because of this extra width, we don't need that. That can stay right there on that foot, a little bit lower to the ground for you. Now, one thing we're going to talk about is this, from this point to the bottom of the box. The reason why that's important is if you have a newer pickup, new Dodge, new Ford, even the new GM body styles have gone up in bed height, all these trucks have gotten taller. So one of the challenges is in the trailer world is making sure a trailer's running level, equal weight distribution on those two axles, but also have bed clearance. So if you have an older trailer with a newer truck, you'll notice the challenges is boy, I either have to extend that coupler to really raise up the nose quite a bit to get bed clearance, and then it's run on the back axle, or I have it running level and I have hardly any bed clearance. So who wants to tear up a bed on an $85,000-$100,000 truck? That would not be fun to have to replace. So what we've done is the industry standard over the years has been 50 inches. We've gone to 53. In this instance here, with this trailer being 7'4" tall, moving this 3 inches up changes that gooseneck area by 0. I mean, we literally have not, versus the standard trailers. But by doing that, now we can adjust our coupler, make sure this trailer is running on both axles, and have bed clearance. Now, we want to shoot for about 6.5 minimum. We really like, you'll more than likely get about 8 to 8.5. I'll be able to put my pinky on the top of the bed and maybe just graze this. I might not even be able to touch it. That's ideal. That way, the chances of you getting into bed have drastically reduced. I won't say that you never will. There are instances where things can still happen, but we've really helped out by putting that up 3 inches to give you that bed clearance you really want. The other thing is we don't want our trailers running on that back axle when they're nosed up, because now we're not truly using that first axle. We're not carrying as much weight on it. It's gonna put more just stress and weight on that back axle, and that's not ideal. If you notice, this is white sheeting. That is standard. If you want to jump up to silver metallic, charcoal metallic, those are probably the two more popular. Black is another one. Custom colors can be done. There are upcharges on that, but if you want to go with the standard white, that's what you're going to get right there. Now, here's the tack room. This is what I was saying. Work off of both sides of this trailer. So this is awesome, because if you're traveling with somebody wants to put some horses on one side, tack up on the other side, you know, somebody's, I hate to say it, the least favorite person's got to come around to the tack door to grab their stuff and walk all the way around. Where in this instance, as you can see through this trailer, there's doors on each side, so you can work off of both sides of this trailer. Now, a couple things you're going to get. You're going to get this big 42-inch wide tack door, which I'll explain to you why here in a second, but on it, you're going to get this 4-tier blanket pole rack. It's on a gas shock. Brush tray for smaller items, fly spray bottles, any ointments, brushes, those type items can be tossed in there. And then when we get to the tack, if you notice where I'm standing in this lower frame, that's a pretty big step. So we like to put on the fold-up steps, making this transition so much easier getting in and out of this tack room. Then, as you can see right here, big wide door, right? Swing out saddle rack swung in, plenty of room to get it in and out. But now when I swing it out, I still have space to get in and out. So you get this swing out saddle rack. We did 4 saddle pads on this one. So we did 2 on each side. So we'll show you the other one here in a minute. But if you wanted to add more, if you wanted to flip flop them, put 3 over here, 1 over there, change some sequencing, you can do that. But these are all adjustable. But as you can see, I can still get in and out. And then when you go to swing in or out, here's where that door clearance comes into play again. If you have a big saddle, big Western saddle on here, and you go to swing it in, if this door is narrower, which a lot of other manufacturers will do, they'll actually narrow their doors up compared to this one on their swing outs, you're going to be dragging them on their door frames. So it's nice, it's clear, it's out of the way, it's real easy swinging in and out. And then you get into this tack room, and we got a lot going on. We'll start at the floor. This is a gray rubber mat. This is the coin design here. There's a couple different versions of it. But this stuff we brought over from our livestock show trailers because of how well it holds up. If you notice on that partition wall, it's sealed as well. So we don't have to worry about dirt or anything else getting underneath it like rubber mats would. The other version is carpet. So carpet will hold stains, it'll hold odor over time. I'm not a fan of it. This has become extremely popular. Customers absolutely love this. Then on your drop wall, you're going to get the 18-inch boot box. We like the 18s if we can versus the 12s because a larger bucket will actually fit in this, where the 12s it won't because of this little lip for the actual framework itself. But great storage for smaller stuff. Use it as a bench if you're hanging out in here, or if you're hopping up into the gooseneck area, it works as a great step. You have carpet on the deck and drop wall. That I'm okay with. It's just not going to get the traffic that the floor would, so it's nice to have the carpet up there. Because this is extra wide, you know, it really widens this nose. Now, Cimarron nose versus a lot of other manufacturers is deeper. They're 8.2 standard, so you really get that depth in here. I mean, you could throw a queen mattress in here. You can throw bedrolls, sleeping bags, have plenty of room, plenty of space. Really get it up into that nose area and still be able to work. You've got an LED light in the nose, windows in the gooseneck, so you can see out, get a cross breeze. I'm a big fan of those because I've spent some nights in there, and I don't like them when they're all sealed up. I just get a little claustrophobic personally, so it's nice to have the windows to see out, and a little bit of cross breeze does make a world of difference if it's kind of in some of those summer months. Frame for an air conditioner. So if you ever wanted to add an air conditioner to this trailer, it's already done. doing the power package and the air conditioner could be done. A manual vent as well, 12-volt vent. They all have the same footprint, so that part of it's already done. Here's another cool feature. You have this shelf. It's an 18-inch deep. It's got a 2-inch lip on it. It's got rubber up there to hold things, but you can throw some miscellaneous items up there, throw a hat box, anything like that. And then below it, you've actually got a clothes bar to hang clothes. So one, if you're needing to just hop in here and change, keeping things out of your back seat of your truck, possibly taking up a lot of room, you're hanging clothes, you could hang right there. LED lights above each door as well. So we have one up in the nose, one above each door, plenty of light coverage. And then we gave you a switch on each side. So whichever side you pop in on, you can just hit this light switch and actually turn that on. This is a 5/6 short wall we're dealing with on driver's side. And then on your partition wall, fully carpeted, 2 rows of bridle hooks. Those are aluminum powder coating, so they're really stout. But that carpet is going to protect our actual head stalls bits, anything like that, from really rubbing on that wall itself. And again, it's nice to have a lot of that. And then the last piece behind that swing out saddle rack is the corner. So in this corner, we put a 25-gallon corner water tank. It's just gravity feed. You fill from the top, empty from the bottom. You see the hose down there on the floor. Get yourself a ball valve to turn it on and off. Just leave that guy attached, and then you can fill your buckets up right outside and not have to lug those in and out of the tack room. But it's nice to be able to carry that water on the trailer itself, whether it's you have a horse that only likes water from home, you know, maybe you're at an event and the hydrant's a quarter mile away and nobody wants to lug those type of buckets, so it's nice to have it excuse me, right here at the trailer. If you look at the top rail, you got a couple button LED lights rather than kind of the big rectangular that extrude out off the trailer. Those button lights have become extremely popular. You've got a 16-inch awning light as well, so you have light coverage kind of above the wheel well area itself. So where you got your horses tied, you've got some light coverage there. You see the 4 bus windows on tail side. I give Cimarron a lot of credit for really maximizing the size of their bus windows. Now, there's some things that are going to come into play as far as what we have to work with for stall size. We'll talk about here in a minute. But if you compare it to the door, the window on the tack door, some manufacturers will put that as their bus window on hip side. So only half of those windows are going to open. So you see the just difference in the sheer size of them. We want to maximize airflow and keeping horses nice and cool, so half of that'll open and they'll be able to slide. But again, big bus windows there. We have 2 7,000-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles, electric brakes, so you'll have to have an integrated brake controller or an aftermarket. If you need an aftermarket, our parts and service department can help you out with that as well. But on this here, you got 16-inch aluminum wheels, the black silver. It just ties in really well with the door, the window frames themselves, the tinted glass, and just the extrusion of the silver. So it's a good look to them. Goodyear tires on it. Again, 1 year, no questions asked warranty on these tires from Lion's Head. That is the supplier that Cimarron uses. So you go through them rather than Cimarron if you have an issue. But if you catch road debris, catch a nail, or if you have a blowout, they'll stand behind it for 1 year. So it's really nice to have that type of a warranty behind your tires. Now with this trailer being extra wide, 7.6 wide, you're going to get 50/50 rear doors. On our standard width 610, you end up with a 60/40 setup. But on this, with it being a wider box, you have the larger doors. They're independent, so one could be open ahead of the other or vice versa. Look, if your horse prefers a rear ramp load, that rubber bumper we could remove and do a ramp over. So again, once again, our parts and service department can help you out with that. We like to put some ramps on a few trailers, but we try not to go too crazy with it for inventory because you might prefer no ramp. But if you do prefer a ramp, those can always be added on. So a lot of add-on stuff can be done right here once you make your purchase. Up above is an 8-inch awning light. So again, another light back here. And then as we get into the stall area, I'm going to just start opening these guys up. You'll notice solid dividers, with pads, nice big spring, as you see. It is pulling them towards that driver's side. We're tipped towards passenger side, but these are wanting to pull towards the driver's side, so we don't have to hold dividers open, leading horses on or off this. And then as we get up to the front, the very first one is going to be a stud divider. So if, for instance, you're not hauling 4 head, you're hauling 2 to 3, you want to use that for additional storage, you've got that. You've got the peace of mind of that divider going to the floor, so it keeps items from trying to get underneath horses. But if you have somebody you need to separate from everybody else, a little bit more of a problem, they can go to stall 1 there. So again, it's tipped towards passenger side. If this was level, all these would be laid against that wall. But as we come in, you're going to notice you will have a little bit of wheel well. With it being extra wide, that's just the way it works. You're going to have a little bit. On this one here, since it's 7.5, you'll have a little bit on the tail side, a little bit on the head side. Obviously, if you go to an 8 foot wide, it just pushes the walls out, so you're going to get all of it on the inside here. But Cimarron does a great job on tapering it, you know, tapering the back corner, tapering it up as well, so we don't have those 90-degree angles. 4 LED lights in the stall area, 1 above each horse. So plenty of light coverage in this stall area that we're looking at here. Up on the roof, you're going to get the standard insulated roof. That comes with every single Cimarron. Doesn't matter what model it is, you're going to get that. A couple things it does. It's strong. I can walk on that roof. It's a 1/2 inch thick honeycomb design, so it's reinforced. Really strong, so it'll take substantial hail. More importantly, in my opinion, was what it does for stall just climate control. So it's 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. So bus windows come into play, 2-way roof vents. You see those up there on the roof as well. We can manipulate airflow. I'll show you the drop windows here in a minute, but we can create airflow, keeping horses nice and cool. That roof makes a massive difference, especially in the summer months. So we'll talk about the flooring as well. So we're standing on the industry's best floor. So 4-inch centers. Wherever you have a horse standing, they're standing on a support beam. So if you want to tell quality of an aluminum trailer, just crawl underneath and look, and you'll see those I-beams that run across the trailer, the full length. The farther they spread out, the cheaper the trailer is, in my opinion, and quality as well. Because what happens is, if we have a horse standing on 4-inch centers, again, they're on those support beams. When you widen those centers, that's where horses can stand and create those kind of pits in a floor where urine will collect and start to corrode the floor. All trailers that are aluminum construction, you need to pull mats, you need to power wash it out, you need to assess it. So pull these out, power wash, let it completely dry, see if anything needs to be basically handled at that point. If not, grab yourself some baking soda, kind of sprinkle it on. It'll counteract the acidity of urine if it does get underneath the mats, and then throw your mats back in. So we have to take care of that, and that is on all of these aluminum trailers. If you wanted to add worm flooring so you don't have to pull mats, we could do that after the fact as well. So again, a lot of add-on items. Now, I talked about the stall size. So what we've done is, this is an extra wide, extra tall trailer, so it'll really accommodate those bigger horses. Now, with that also being said, is the standard width as far as like where our drop windows are, that stall size on that head, tail side is 39 inches. This one here, we've added 9 inches to this trailer, and we've put 3 extra inches in each stall, making them 42, so these are extra wide. The last stall, we build a little bit longer anyway, and that's just so this divider right here can remain solid. Now, there are times where it calls for a telescoping divider. We try to limit that as much as we can. It's just one more moving part. With this solid divider here, now we don't have to worry about that. It can be against the wall, we can shut the rear doors, and the divider can actually be open. Now, the manufacturer is always going to recommend having them closed when you're traveling, just for, we have one more locking point versus, you know, just on those hinges up front where this can potentially bounce. Now it's locked in. If you notice, this is a recessed paddle latch as well, so we don't have metal to metal contact because this paddle latch is heavy UHMW plastic. So it's not creating that rattle by metal to metal. That's a big difference there. But again, As you can see, this stall can accommodate big horses just based on stall length, stall height because of the extra tall, and then just making those dividers, or excuse me, those stalls a little bit larger than standard. The very last thing that we put back here is backup lights. That has become extremely popular. It's a very small upgrade, but boy is it sure nice, and we are just incorporating it on about every inventory piece that we build for the most part, just because, you know, when we get in unfamiliar places, it's nice to be able to throw it in reverse and have some light coverage, because our truck's a long ways away for those reverse lights. Now, to mention the drop, here's a good look. Big, heavy drop windows. These feed doors are made at the factory. Everything you see from the edge to the edge of the window is framed. So these guys are built stacked. You're also going to get the jail bars that'll drop down, so if you need to throw in a new feed bag, pull something out, you've got the capability to do that. Above each one of these drop windows, and then also tack doors, is going to be a drip rail. So that is an extruded piece that Cimarron actually builds just for above doors. Now, a lot of other manufacturers will take just a strip of aluminum and tack it up there. Why it's important is mornings like this. We had some pretty good snow yesterday, started to melt, everything's coming off the top of these trailers. They'll try to get to the top of those doors, and that water will work in. And then it'll, as we get to these evenings, it'll freeze up. And the reason why is because when we go to open these in these mornings, these guys here will be hard to open because that moisture's got in there. So that's why it's really important. Again, today it's gonna be nice and hot, and we're gonna end up with, you know, a lot of melting and coming off the trailer itself. And that's what we have to deal with, and that's why I see your escape door at one. Smaller drop window going in there just because of the framework around that escape door, but you do have that. Then, last piece, the mirrored front door and tack setup we looked at on the other side. 4-tier blanket pole rack on a gas shock, brush tray on the door, and then you also have that second swing out saddle rack with 2 pads there. That, again, you can add more if you'd like, but it's nice to be able to have that, as you can still see with that nice wide door that you can still get in and out like we showed you on the other one, and then your fold-up step. So really good setup, really nice, extra tall, extra wide to accommodate some big horses in this Cimarron that we're looking at. I'm going to give you the stock number on this one so you can reference it if you want to call in. Again, it's a 2024 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse gooseneck, 5N 231239. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade, maybe even downsize, maybe an LQ you want to trade in on this, we can help you out there. Financing is available, and delivery is an option as well. We could potentially bring this right to you. So give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.